Hey everyone, today we're going to be doing a least to most intelligent ranking. This is one I wanted to revisit, partly because it was one of the more polarizing lists the first time round, and also because we have new characters to add to the list. We have 5 tiers, let's get into it. Starting off, we have the not very intelligent characters. Demogorgon is probably the least intelligent character, with it being the only non-human character, and also quite possibly being controlled by the Mind Flayer, meaning it's essentially just following orders. It's not completely mindless either, but it's likely the least intelligent of our roster. Unfortunately for everyone, I stand by my sentiment that Nemesis is just not the most intelligent. I understand the whole highly intelligent bioweapon thing, but I just don't really think we have the evidence to prove that's true at all. Throughout Resident Evil 3, he acts like a complete idiot, failing to complete his one objective a bunch of times, when he has so many options to. At the end of the day, this guy is largely a programmed parasite, so for me, it's still not very intelligent. Bubba seems to lack intelligence, mainly from his upbringing. It's unclear how intelligent he really is. Throughout the film though, he seems largely confused, and mostly just follows orders. Legion don't exactly act intelligently at any point in their lore, and their general views on things seem largely uninformed, making them likely not very intelligent. They're a bunch of reckless teenagers at the end of the day. Clown is another character who appears to be not very intelligent. He's consistently said to be sloppy and unpredictable, and by the end of his lore is literally getting hunted because he gets caught. The only thing we can maybe pin him for as somewhat intelligent is his creation of the After-Peace tonic. However, for me, the other things really bring him down, and I don't think its creation is enough of an argument to prove his greater intelligence. Average intelligence is the category for the characters who are just kind of normal people intelligence-wise, and don't display anything to suggest greater or lesser intelligence. Billy is a character I would say is of average intelligence. He just struggles to express it, due to him being incapable of speaking, but the way he perceives his upbringing and his perception of the world proves he doesn't lack intelligence. Trickster doesn't appear to actually be so intelligent. He largely gets away with stuff due to his position, with him actually lacking a lot of intelligence in the way he goes about killing. He almost gets caught a bunch of times, and Yunjin seems to catch on pretty easily. We could debate there is intelligence in his success with his music though, I suppose. Huntress and Twins I want to kind of combine together, as they both have a similar deal of not being intelligent directly, but still being clearly capable and intelligent in their own way. Despite often being outnumbered, all of these characters manage to overcome their environment and hostile forces, which does show some definite intelligence in things like strategy and survival. Spirit and Hag seem to be at a similar intelligence level, both being around 18-19. It seems. Neither of them seem to be excelling at school or anything, and both seem pretty normal prior to them being taken into the realm. They may be our clearest case of just very average characters intelligence-wise. Sadako I don't think we really have much to go on at all. Purely going off of the original Ringu film, there isn't much display either way, so I think I'll just put her around this same average point with some others. Shape is another character around this area that never really displays much intelligence, to be honest. He actually shows a lot of incompetence, and relies largely on his immortality and ability to teleport about, with his only intelligence really being how long he manages to stay hidden, although this seems largely down to his supernatural ability. Wraith seems to be just about average in terms of intelligence. Nothing stands out to me in his lore that would make me think he's either lacking or is above average. He seems quite average. Nurse I want to put around the same level. Despite her being a nurse, she is said to not actually have any training, and she essentially picks up her job as a nurse after her husband dies, and she adapts to the role over time. So she likely has gained some knowledge from her time at Crota's Pren, but I think she's largely pretty average intelligence-wise. Pig has a combination of intelligence, but also similar recklessness to other characters on this list. It depends how much weight you put into the Saw games, and how much intelligence it takes to conduct them. I personally don't think she's too intelligent, and she seems quite easily manipulated and reliant on Jigsaw. I would put her a little above the others though, but I still think pretty average. Moving on to the above average intelligence tier, Freddy has debatable intelligence in his own twisted way, in the sense that he knows how to specifically scare different people when he pulls them into the dream world. With this said, it's unclear whether this is intelligence, or if it's more of a construction of the dream world itself, or Freddy's demon powers. It's also very focused to have a developed understanding of how to torment people, and that doesn't necessarily make him intelligent because he can do that. Oni's intelligence isn't exactly the clearest, I would say. His lore is mostly about him wanting to smash things, and then subsequently smashing them. He likely had a decent education with him being raised in a wealthy family, however he doesn't seem the most intelligent despite that. He even refuses his father's pleas to do literally anything else, and something a bit more noble, so I don't think he's too concerned with education and stuff like that. Executioner's intelligence is not very clear. I think his intelligence is quite possibly higher than a regular person though, as he is an immortal being, and likely beyond a regular person's intelligence. This one is tough, and I'm not entirely sure where to place him, as his intelligence seems kind of irrelevant almost, with him being a manifestation of someone's guilt and desire for punishment. That kind of thing doesn't really scale well. Trapper I think is of just above average intelligence, in the way he manages to overthrow his father and see through his lies. We can also consider the running of the Macmillan estate, which can't exactly be easy and must take some level of intelligence, along with the ruthless nature he gained from his father. I think it's very debatable with him here, but I think it's about right. Knight is another character I would debate is kind of hard to judge for his intelligence. He is shown to be capable, and in fairness he does outsmart Vittorio, who seems fairly intelligent himself. He overthrows the Guardia Campagna, and manages to save a bunch of his mates too, and appeals to each of them to follow him. He seems to rely a lot on violence like Oni, but does seem to be notably more intelligent, and almost charismatic it seems. Maybe that's a completely wrong read, I'm not sure. Let me know what you think of Knight. I'm really not sure about him. Cenobite is another character whose intelligence is a bit unclear. He seems like he would be intelligent, with him being the leader of the Cenobites, and generally walking around with lots of authority, like he knows what's up. Similar to someone like Pyramid Head, it's very unclear just how intelligent he would be, or whether it's even really relevant or quantifiable for a character like this. Purely from the original film, I would say he displays intelligence beyond above average. Artist I would say is of above average intelligence, with her managing to create an artistic movement and gaining a large following. It's hard to judge how intelligent she is, but she is clearly perceptive, and manages to interpret the world around her in an intelligent way through her art. Dredge in some ways I want to say is the most intelligent, as it's technically the combined mass of likely hundreds of people. However, it doesn't seem like these people are collected into a greater consciousness, and it's more just Dredge itself, like the fog part, which is what we would call its mind, I guess. I guess we would put it in a similar placement to Shape, being an embodiment of evil. It does seem to be a lot more malicious and almost cunning though, with both its approach and consumption of the Garden of Joy's community. So I'm actually going to put it on the high end here. The highly intelligent characters are next up. Deathslinger is a genius inventor. He creates the spear gun as well as a bunch of other things, such as his leg brace. Compared to some other characters though, his inventions are definitely more simplistic, although advanced for the time. He's clearly intelligent with his designs, and his adaptation to survival, and fixes for his injuries. Plague has intelligence in a slightly different way, and it's in the way she manages to rally her people and make them all believe in her. She's a very good leader, and is revered by her people for her selfless acts and her devotion. She works her way from literally nothing to being the High Priestess of Babylon. It's her ability to rally her people and make them all believe to the same extent she does that shows just how intelligent she is. Ghostface proves to be intelligent in the way he manages to be in plain sight without getting caught, for what seems to be many years, although unspecified. Super creepy guy who has a very keen eye for detail, and even when he's literally caught on tape, he still seems to manage to get out of it. I will say again though that his intelligence is largely focused on how he goes about his killing, and so although I think he displays clear intelligence, he isn't in the highest tier. Now we're on to the extremely intelligent characters. Wesker did nearly complete his whole world domination thing, so he is clearly intelligent. He was one of the people who managed to create the T-virus and later the Ouroboros virus. He was part of Project W, which makes him much more capable of survival, and allows him to only become more intelligent and learn from mistakes that would otherwise result in his death. He's also a large part in taking down Umbrella. Skull Merchant manages to become very wealthy wealthy with her aggressive takeover style of other businesses, and her creation of her own business to kickstart herself off, as well as being a self-made millionaire by 18. She did very well at school and shows clear intelligence throughout her lore. She also of course creates her drones, which she uses to take down different business people that get in her way. She's undeniably intelligent. Doctor is definitely one of the more intelligent characters in the game. His research into electroshock therapy and interrogation is terrifying, but also shows his intelligence, with his add-ons showing his extensive studies and notes. We can also learn through things like flavor text that he attempts to do things like control others with use of his thoughts, through connecting his own mind or brain to others. The guy is clearly and undeniably intelligent, no matter how messed up he may be. Blight is one of the more intelligent characters, who does some seemingly impossible feats. One of the more impressive ones is his escaping of the Void within the Entities realm. The Void is meant to be like an eternal pit of damnation that you are left to rot and die in, but somehow Talbot finds the strength and manages to escape it. On top of this, we know he managed to actually find the Entities realm too, or at least be so obsessive that he basically figured out a way to summon the entity with his research, even though it drove him crazy. He also attempted, although failed, to make a super soldier serum, which seems to at least inform his later creation of the Blight serum, which although has some side effects, does definitely make him physically stronger, and is likely the reason he is able to escape the Void. He's my pick for the most intelligent. Alright, well, that's gonna do it. I do hope you enjoyed, and let me know your thoughts on this down below. Thanks, and goodbye.